Big wins all over the market. What a great week of trading. It just seemed to be one of those weeks, no matter what you did, you just seemed to print money. I love to see people winning in the Discord as well. But this market pivots on one thing that you need to be watching, and it's going to be the deciding factor for if this short squeeze continues or if we plummet back down. So make sure you like the video, maybe subscribe, and let's get into the weekly report. Now, before we talk about the market, I do want to say that the ChatGPT bot is now live in the Discord. We're seeing lots of members interact with it, ask it different questions. It's important to remember that this bot only uses data up to 2021 and has limited real-time data. So if you do ask it what a stock is currently doing, it's going to give you 2021 data. We've seen a few people make that mistake. We made an announcement in the Discord though, but it's been great. Lots of people have been testing it, seeing how good it is. It's extremely good with the answers. If multiple people ask it the same, different questions at the same time, it'll actually give a compounded answer, address all the questions. I mean, this is really, really impressive. But like most things on the internet, it's already taken only a week for someone to try and use the bot to look up adult content. I'm looking at you, Rollins. Stop it. But on a more serious note, it's been a great addition. It's a great tool to use to ask about factual information, about options and investing. It also saves me time from having to answer questions constantly. So I'm absolutely loving it. I think the community is as well. Activity in the Discord is up a lot. So, hey, happy to see it. Glad you're enjoying it. And you know who else is enjoying it? Microsoft. Their stock has been absolutely exploding on the rumors that they're trying to incorporate the AI into their Bing search engine. And this is huge, but not just for Microsoft, also for Google, who's enjoyed being top dog, having all this privilege of no real competition. And suddenly, all these AIs and other search engines, whether it's Brave, who's now incorporating AI, or Bing, which is another much bigger competitor that's now going to challenge Google, they're all going to start stealing market share from Google. And I think the giant might just be in trouble. And I think the market is starting to wise up to this. While the rest of the market is rallying, Google is lagging, pretty much trading sideways, if not slightly down from here. So the market starts to turn over. Investors are looking at who's going to be the standout winners. I don't think they're going to come back to Google. And remember, Google doesn't need to completely fall apart for there to be some severe capitulation in its pricing. It experiences this privileged pricing because of its position that it's held for years. People see it as a safe blue chip stock to own. But if there's now serious competition that starts stealing profits away from Google, who is already hurting because of the Android sales due to the Apple marketplace, it's already been chipped at. This will be a much bigger chunk of the profits that this company was receiving. And even more so than that, we haven't really seen any actual competitive technology come out of Apple, Amazon, or Google that really competes with these new AI softwares. Not even close. Your Google Home or your Alexa device is nothing compared to this AI. It doesn't even come close, or even Siri on your iPhone. This makes them all look absolutely useless. And I've been saying that energy will be the big conversation in 2023, but it looks like the AI race is already taking a serious leap forward. Now, right now, Microsoft has an actual narrative behind its rally, but the S&P, it's a little bit different. In fact, the market's likely getting ahead of itself on the expectation that the Fed will pivot, even though they've repeatedly told us that they will keep rates higher longer than people are expecting. They will only pause, they will not pivot, and that this year will be pain, and they want to bring the market down. They could not be more clear about this, yet the market still doesn't believe them. And we've seen that this rally has now turned into a short squeeze, and the big question is what will it take to keep this squeeze going? Which brings us to the data that will be coming out tomorrow. Now, what we need to be watching for is this CPI data. We want to see that inflation is continuing to come down. If it is, this rally is likely to continue. And if we look at the performance in the market, where it's at on the technicals, this looks like it's pretty ripe for a continued rally. We're seeing the after hours, we pulled back down to the 395, important to hold that. And it looks like this market could easily bounce off this 30 RSI here and bring about another rally tomorrow. Now, this is going to be very dependent on what that data looks like tomorrow, but the setup looks really strong for a continued rally. And even more so than that, if you've been following my tweets or keeping up with the Discord, I've been saying, hey, when 393 hits, we can go long. And that's actually what led to a lot of the wins today. Market broke, tested that 393, we got the break there, and then just slowly melted up. We also had big wins in Tesla right at the open today, called out a trade, rode this all the way up. That was a great trade, ended up getting out at the top with some runners for 78% returns, which was beautiful. If we also look at Apple, we can see that we're holding over that bearish trend line. The stock has also been getting some traction. TLT seems to have found a short-term bottom as well, as continuing to come up. That's important because it indicates what the bond market thinks the Fed's going to do. If we see TLT continue to downtrend, it'll likely bring the market down with it, because that means that long-term bonds are saying, hey, rates are going to go higher, so we're adjusting down. However, this pivots, it starts to rally up. It's an anticipation of a Fed pivot. It means that those yields are coming down in anticipation of rates also coming down. So it's important to also keep an eye on bonds. Don't let your eye off of those. If we look over at the VIX, what you want to be seeing here is the VIX actually dropped below 20. Now, the interesting thing today, and likely because of the data that's coming out tomorrow, is that we actually saw the VIX rally with the market. If we do an auto here, that's going to be more exaggerated here. We pulled a little bit of a pullback into the close that I actually didn't notice. But we want this below 20 to really signify that, hey, we're really going to be pushed to that 400 level. And then maybe we need to do some reconsideration there about if we're going even higher than that as well. Now, I wouldn't get too bullish here, because remember, this is a short-term squeeze in a very rough market environment that's likely going to be rougher than next year. And by about midway this year, I would expect us to see lower lows than we saw last year. Remember, last year I was saying we could potentially hit 320. I think this is the year where we finally see that come to fruition. And crypto holders are also having a blast right now, and that's brought some love to coin. But one of the important things that if you're watching in crypto is to keep an eye on a coin called Bonk. Many people are saying that it's the new Doge, but this time it's here to stay. It's a cryptocurrency that's built around a game. In particular, I think it's fine for speculation. I haven't done a real deep dive on that. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you'd like me to. But one of the big things about Bonk is that it's had a very organic rally. This isn't like Doge, where we had sensationalized hype that brought these ridiculous highs and caused tons of FOMO. Bonk's been relatively quiet, and most people actually still haven't heard of it despite its amazing performance that it's had so far on the market. But Solana is also one of the big leaders right now. Lots of people are saying that Solana is going to overtake Ethereum, and this is a lot of the hype that's also been brought around because of the new phone that they're going to be releasing this quarter. They should be coming out soon. Now, the phones are meant for developers, and that's not really the perception I got when I went through their advertising and the marketing that they had presented for the phone. But that's what I'm being told by people in my network that are really in tune to the space, that this first round of phones is mostly going to be based around developers, and they're not trying to go for the wide market yet, which I think could be a smart move. But also, you know, it's a lot of supply chains that you have to build up to build a very niche phone. And look, I treat these cryptocurrencies like companies when they do things like companies would do. And so I feel like if this drop kind of falls flat on its face, because why would a developer go from working on their computer where they have their nice setup and all their different tools, multiple screens, to working on the little tiny phone? It's the reason I could trade on my phone. There's tons that ask for me to trade on my phone. I don't trade on my phone. I feel like it's kind of silly when I have my multiple monitors set up. This is my command center. This is where I'm going to work. Why would a developer go from their command center to a little tiny device? Do they travel that much? These people barely leave the house. They don't remember what grass looks like. So I've been told I'm a little too skeptical, but right now, that's where I'm staying. And that's going to be it for this weekly report. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend.